Hello and welcome to Capybara TV. Thank you for watching. In this last episode about our beloved magic computer PC95, we are going to talk about his golden heart, what makes it work, how it's different from the original NES and why. But first, a quick history lesson. PC95 is one of many clones inspired by the success of the Japanese family computer from Nintendo, the original video game, who looked like a red transformer.
Well, I gotta do what I gotta do. One shall stand, one shall shift. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who are you?
My name is Optimus Prime.
Well, you don't look anything like me.
I thought you were made of sterner stuff.
Had two major flaws. First, it had no lockup chip and no way to prevent piracy. The second was its diskette system, which was expensive and clunky. So, when Nintendo decided to move into America, they redesigned the Famicom and it became the Nintendo Entertainment System. They dropped the disk system and inserted a protection chip. But by then it was already too late, because some companies in Taiwan already developed this beautiful baby right here, the UM6561 NES on a chip. It was cheaper and more advanced in every way. You heard me right, the clone is an improved version of the original Famicom, which used mostly out-of-the-shelf components and a modified 6502 microprocessor. Wait, make that two processors. Yes, that's the secret sauce of the NES. It runs two processors at the same time, one for the program and the other for the graphics. The cloned Taiwan chip is an all-in-one system capable of doing everything alone, like an Arduino or Raspberry Pi. Besides an external crystal clock and power, it does not require any extra parts. Because of that, I wasn't able to understand the architecture of the video game until I saw the NES Hacker, a new and welcome channel on YouTube that you most definitely must subscribe. Let's hear some explanation from Ryan.
Hey, I'm Ryan and welcome to NES Hacker. In this episode, I'm going to show you how the NES stores, processes, and displays sprite graphics. But before we proceed, do me a favor by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. After that, we'll take a look at the chip behind those nostalgic 8-bit graphics. The main component that produces graphics for the NES is called the Picture Processing Unit, or PPU for short. The PPU is a specialized chip developed by Nintendo that works alongside the CPU as a coprocessor. This is analogous to the way that a graphics card works in a modern personal computer. Unlike the CPU, the PPU performs a fixed set of graphics operations and can't be programmed directly. Instead, it has its own set of memory that can be modified to change how it generates graphics. Roughly speaking, this memory space is broken down into 4 distinct sections. So, putting it all together, you can think of the PPU as being controlled by these 4 distinct regions of memory. The pattern tables define the raw image data, the name tables set up the backgrounds, the palettes define what colors to use, and the OAM controls the foreground sprites. The PPU does have additional functions that can be controlled, but they're a bit advanced and I'll be dedicating entire videos to them in the future. For now, let's restrict the discussion to these 4 basic parts and dig into each of them a little deeper. A basic implementation for a game will simply store the bytes for an entire pattern table in the ROM, and then load them one after another into the PPU's name table memory. Once complete, the data for a background is effectively loaded, and the PPU can render the entire composition to the screen. For production games, it generally takes too long to re-render the entire name table between each frame, so most games use advanced techniques for storing and processing name table data so that they can update the backgrounds in real time without slowing down a game. As you can probably guess, these techniques are a bit out of scope for a basics video, but I plan on covering some of them in future episodes. Alright, so that about does it for an introduction to NES graphics. While there's a lot going on, and it's all based on some wildly old school tech, I think it's pretty easy to grasp once you break it all down. The hardest part for me, when I was first learning how to make NES games, was wrapping my head around how the attribute tables worked. So if you're struggling with any of the concepts that I introduced in this video, leave me a question in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks for watching NES Hacker. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified when I post the next video on the channel. And if you have any questions or feedback, let me know in the comments.
Thank you, Ryan. God bless you. As you can see, one ROM memory loads the game and sounds into the CPU, and at the same time, the other ROM memory loads graphics into the PPU. This parallel processing is the leap in evolution of video games, be able to free CPU power by processing the graphics elsewhere. Up until today, the computers and video games use this very architecture evolved, with the old PPU being the grandfather of modern GPUs. Well, that's it. We can say goodbye to our little friend PC95. Back to the closet of childhood memories. Thank you for watching. God bless you.